Welcome to the Holistic Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Keisha Blair, wife, mother of 3, author of Holistic Wealth, and founder of the Institute on Holistic Wealth. The show will showcase various experts in the key pillars of holistic wealth. Each week, we deliver the best information on how to become holistically wealthy and live your best life. Today, we have a very special solo episode on how to cope during stressful times. Now, this solo episode is brought to you by the Institute on Holistic Wealth. And so the Institute on Holistic Wealth is the official sponsor for the Holistic Wealth podcast. And you can visit the website at www.instituteonholisticwealth.com for a range of resources on how to help you with your holistic wealth objectives. And of course, the Institute on Holistic Wealth has a range of certification programs like the Holistic Healing Certification Program, the Trauma of Money Certification Program, as well as the Certified Holistic Wealth Consultant Program. And that's the signature certification program for the Institute on Holistic Wealth. There's also a membership platform where you can become a member, join the Institute for free resources, other ebooks, other resources to help you on your way to achieving that holistically wealthy lifestyle. And there's so many more articles and resources such as this podcast, past episodes that are available on the Institute on Holistic Wealth website. So check out the website and see what's available and how that can help you on your journey. So as I mentioned, today is a solo episode. It's on coping with stress during these times that we're in. And I'm happy to be doing this episode as we have all been navigating this pandemic now for over 2 years. It's been collectively a very, very stressful time for all of us. If you have had to navigate, COVID-19 in terms of getting COVID-19 yourself or watching other family members, that has also been stressful. We have an economy with high inflation. And so I've spoken about that in past episodes. You can check out past episodes of the Holistic Wealth podcast where I've spoken about financial anxiety, coping with high inflation. We have a range of episodes that are related to this one that you can also add to your library, your playlist, and you can follow along and get tips and resources, not only from myself, but from other experts. And so this is such an important topic right now. It's natural to be feeling stressed as we go about our daily lives because there's so much happening globally, locally. There's so much happening even around our communities right now. We have a war in Ukraine. We have, as I said, rising food prices, rising gas prices. It's like the perfect storm, right? That has converged upon us that creates stress. And so it's really natural right now to be feeling stressed. Other people are sick. Other people are worried about losing their jobs. Other people are worried about an economic recession coming up. And so many people are also isolated, right? From family members, from friends. So it's unbelievable what that stress can do. Now, stress can be a good thing when it's kept to a minimum, right? So stress helps us to prepare to meet our demands and challenges of our environment up to a certain point, right? So there's a chain of rapidly occurring neurochemical and neuroelectrical reactions that can sharpen our attention and can help our ability to assess our surroundings, motivate us, and even briefly boost our immune system. But that's designed to be a really short-term response, to last for a few minutes, a few hours, not days and weeks. So when it starts lasting longer than that, it becomes chronic, and it becomes chronic stress. And so when our stress system stays activated for a prolonged period of time, it can suppress our adaptive immune systems and make us vulnerable to illnesses and diseases. And we know that stress can cause problems with our immune systems, leading to viral infections. It can cause heart attacks, stroke, and more serious situations. It can cause digestive issues from tummy troubles. It can cause so many things to go wrong with our bodies. And that's why it's so important that we learn how to manage stress more than ever now, especially in this era of disruption. And, it's amazing that our mental space and our physical health is so important. And in my book, Holistic Wealth, in the new expanded and updated version of Holistic Wealth, I talk about that a lot because of what we're going through. And it's amazing how that part of our lives really adds to our holistic wealth overall. And so there's a whole part in the book, and I'm talking about the new Holistic Wealth Expanded and Updated book. And it's also in the first edition, but it's there in the book. And I talk about our physical and spiritual nourishment. And that's a critical part in terms of building that physical, spiritual, and emotional asset portfolio that I spoke about in the book. And all of that area helps us to manage stress. So that entire area of the book is your go-to for managing stress. Now, it's unbelievable what we've all been dealing with. So we've all been collectively walking through this traumatic period. And even though we may not have control over our circumstances, we have control of our minds, right? And if we can have control of our minds, which we do, then we can control a lot. There's hope. And so I know there's people listening in feeling absolutely down, feeling like there's no hope, feeling like they need that dose of inspiration. Well, let me tell you, I know what it feels like to walk down that road where it feels hopeless. I've been there during tragedy, and I know that it's temporary. It does not have to be permanent. And that's the framework I laid out in Holistic Wealth, which is why it's such a helpful framework. Just over the weekend, I had a very stressful period for myself. I spent the entire weekend in the emergency room with my dad, who developed a blood clot in his leg after traveling. And I kid you not, I spent the entire weekend in the emergency room, and I came home and I thought, wow, it's unbelievable how stressed and how stressful I feel right now. And so my husband always brings me back to the Holistic Wealth Framework, even when I forget and I'm the author. And he said to me, go back to that book, go back to your book. And I said, you're right. That's where all the tools are laid out. I've done it before. I've been there. I've done that. We just need to. And it's the same with you. You've been there. You've done it before. We just need to go back to that framework that we know that works, right? And so it's all there. And if you don't have a copy of the book, I'm imploring you right now to get your own very copy so that you can use that framework and you can keep going back to those chapters that are wonderfully laid out about how you can overcome these stressful times. And so mindfulness is one of the things I discuss a lot in the book. And it's such a useful tool. It allows us to have space, right, from our cognition and emotions so that we can see things as they really are. So rather than being anxious and thinking about the past and worrying about the future, mindfulness can ground us in the present, right? And we can actually enjoy the moment that we're having now. So if you're listening into this podcast and you're thinking, yeah, I'm feeling like I can do this, well, relish that moment. That's what mindfulness is. Just not think about, the worries of yesterday or tomorrow. Just be mindful, be present, and think about what you can do. So breathing exercises are very important. And in this episode, I want to give some really practical tips that you can do right now. So breathing is important. Start from the moment you wake up, right? And think about your day and how you're going to set your intention. In Holistic Wealth, I talk about intentional life design. That's about living intentionally by design. So when you get up, take one really long, deep breath, longer than 10 seconds. Make sure it's long and try to exhale longer than you inhale. And even during the day, do your breathing exercises. And while you're doing those breathing exercises, express one thought of gratitude. So what are you grateful for when you get up? Are you grateful to be alive? Grateful to have that brilliant sunshine? Grateful to see your loved ones, your kids first thing in the morning? Those people in your life that are really stepping up to help you and stepping up to be there for you. Your family is healthy. Express one thing of gratitude, just one major thought of gratitude. And I know lots of us are very into meditating and prayer in the morning. That also helps. So whether it's your morning prayer, your morning meditation, do that and do your deep breathing exercises. And think about how you can integrate this gratitude throughout your day. So when you get up, think about how you can integrate this gratitude throughout your day and really set your intention for the rest of the day. You know, in Holistic Wealth, I talk about the Holistic Wealth method, and that is a method of decision making because we all make over 35,000 decisions per day, as I said in the book, and we need to make those decisions strategically, right? So that we can minimize stress. If we make those decisions strategically, we're minimizing stress. So think about the things that enrich your Holistic Wealth bank account rather than deplete you. And as you go through your day and you're making your decisions on what you'll eat for breakfast, the route you'll drive to work, the type of music or songs or ebooks that you listen to, really, really be intentional about what you fill yourself up with. Make it enriching and make it so that it minimizes that stress, right? So we're getting really intentional about every single decision we're making. And so think about the things that deplete you too and try to stay away from that. So if first thing, you know, when you rise in the morning, if you think that listening to the news and the bombing in the Ukraine and the economy and the rising gas prices, if that's going to really cause your anxiety levels, set you into flight or fight mode, then just not do that as your first thing. So try to minimize the things that will deplete you and make you feel bankrupt. And that's the Holistic Wealth method. And that's also outlined in the book. And that intention really helps us to be calm and to be controlled, right? And so that's amazing to do every single day to minimize stress. And no matter what happening around you, remember that you're in control of your thoughts. And that's what the Holistic Wealth method is about, allowing you to feel in control, right? Because when we feel unfocused or anxious during the day, that can also shoot up our stress levels. So take 8 minutes to breathe, right? Exercise mindfulness, observing your passing thoughts without judgment, without bringing attention back to the things that have been bothering you and things that have caused you to be distracted. Refocus back to your present and try not to worry about the past. So in the book, in part 3, that's where I talk about physical, spiritual nourishment. And so eating well and sleeping well is critically important to your physical and spiritual nourishment. Self-care during times of high stress is essential, right? And it sounds simple and obvious, but when we're in fight or flight mode, when we're in survival mode, many of us don't take good care of ourselves, right? Great sleep is crucial, and it's amazing what optimal sleep does. And it's unbelievably how important it is to have a nighttime routine. And having a nighttime routine helps with optimal sleep. So going to bed at the same time each night, right? Because our brain thrives on regularity. Our brain thrives on regularity. And if you're stressed out, you may have trouble falling asleep or even staying asleep, right? So it's essential that you have a good nighttime routine with the same things every night, right? And so your body knows when it's time to go to sleep. So you read a book, you brush your teeth, you read a book, you jot down your thoughts, you do your gratitude journal, you write down your journal until you feel sleepy. And you do that nighttime routine and your brain recognizes it. And you know, it's a part of that way of how we train our brains. And try to wake up the same time each morning as well. So even if you've had a bad time sleep, that regularity will keep your circadian rhythm in check. And we want to be able to do that. And that's also important. And so in the book, I also talk about eating well, physical nourishment, right? And so part of reducing stress is eating well and getting hydrated. And in times of high stress, our bodies crave sugar, starches, and salt. Research has found that people who have a healthy diet are less prone to infections. So eat well, eat colorfully, dark, leafy, green vegetables. And, you know, I'm a lover of chocolate. I love chocolate, but chocolate doesn't count. Sorry to say, and I have to say that to remind myself too, chocolate doesn't count, although I do think it can be an addition to your Holistic Wealth bank account at times, which is not too often, right? So your immune system needs that good energy. So eat well and drink plenty of water. It flushes toxins from the body. So that's important. Creating connections with others. So in the book, I talk about our relationships and how important those are for our holistic wealth and well-being, right? Goodwill and strong relationships are actually part 5 of the book. And it's known that during times of uncertainty, we gravitate to our tribe for comfort and support, right? We need that tribe. We need our cheering partners to cheer us along, especially when we feel unmotivated, right? And so it's unbelievable what your community can do. It's unbelievable what your friendships, your social network can do, because during times of stress, social isolation can also lead to loneliness, which can have drastic effects on our mental and physical health, right? So it's important, to connect with your family, your friends, your coworkers. Make a list of people you want to call to thank them for making a difference in your life, and give them a call, send them a text, ask them about their day, how they're doing. I think we're all yearning for that connection, that kindness right now in our lives. And this is also a time to practice compassion for others. It's amazing what everyone has been going through. It's amazing what we've been through the last 2 years. And that's why in the New and Holistic Wealth book, I also emphasized the whole concept of mastering the art of recovery from disruption, because I do believe if we can master that art, we will come out better on the other side. And so it's time to practice compassion. Almost everyone has been affected by social, physical, and economic dislocation from the pandemic. So we're all in this together. There's no other out there. It's all of us. So it's a beautiful time to create joy and connection with others and remember those relationships. And so another part of coping, with stressful times is finding purpose. And so in the first part of the book, I talk about intentional life purpose. And that's building your life purpose portfolio, right? And so finding purpose and really doubling down on your purpose. It's amazing the stories we tell ourselves, right? Especially when times are tough, and we tell ourselves, oh, you probably won't make it, or, it's such a tough time. Well, let's, rework the stories we tell ourselves. And we all have the power to create purpose. And that quote comes from Martin Luther King Jr. So that's a Martin Luther King Jr. quote that I also quoted in Holistic Wealth. And it's amazing how we have that power. And it's amazing how it feels to reclaim that power. So Viktor Frankl, who I also quote in the book, he's the Austrian neurologist and psychologist who survived 4 concentration camps and experienced that profoundly deepened his understanding of man. He learned that our main drive or motivation in life is neither pleasure nor power, but finding meaning. Frankl wrote, and this is a quote from him, "Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, only by a lack of meaning and purpose." And in his experience at the camps, he wrote, "Those who were oriented towards a meaningful life to be fulfilled in the future were most likely to survive." And so it's unbelievable. And it's so true. It's so true that what brings us through tragedy, it's so true that what brings us through stressful times is finding meaning and purpose in life. And that's what builds resilience, right? And so it's amazing how we can reach out. So in the book, I talk about the motivation from within framework. And that's a critical framework. And as you read through the book, you will go through that and you'll pick up additional tips and strategies. But some people are out there helping the less fortunate in their communities by reaching out. Others are teaching, children. A lot of these activities give us purpose, right? And they give us meaning. So as you forge ahead and things get tough, remember that your most significant ally lies inside you, inside your mind. So take care of it. Take care of it for your own health and for the health of others too. And remember that there are always tools and resources to help you. The new Holistic Wealth book, expanded and updated, is amazing. It's an amazing tool for mindset, for taking back power and control in your own life, and for forging ahead when there are disruptions. And it's an amazing framework. It's an amazing framework for that. And this podcast has some amazing episodes. check out the episode with actress Kelly Rutherford, who is actually the forward writer for the new and updated, expanded Holistic Wealth. And her forward is just an amazing forward. It's one of the best forwards I've read personally. And she lays out how she came through her tragedy in life. And she lays out how she empowered herself with a mindset that allowed her to get through that. So you can check out her forward in the book and also check out her podcast episode on this Holistic Wealth podcast. Check out Kelly's podcast. Check out Lauren Ridinger's podcast on relationships and why it's important to keep positive relationships around you to enrich you. Check out my solo episode on financial anxiety and how to cope. If you're feeling a bit anxious about your finances right now, check out that podcast episode. And they're amazing episodes, in the many seasons that we've had so far that are complementary to this one. So really build up your library of episodes that you can listen to help you minimize stress, books that you can read to minimize stress, and really build up that resource bank around you to help enrich your holistic wealth bank account. I hope you have a great rest of the week coming up forward. And I hope you'll share this episode with many people because so many people are really struggling to cope with stress. So share this episode, share the book, share the link, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great week, everyone. Lots of love. Thank you for joining us this week on Holistic Wealth with Keisha Blair. Make sure to visit our website, KeishaBlair.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, or via RSS, so you will never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. Are you a member of the Institute on Holistic Wealth? If not, what are you waiting for? Go to Institute on Holistic Wealth /memberships to choose your membership plan and join. As a member, you get so many perks. Free worksheets, advice, coaching, and a member's workshop to design an intentionally designed life. You need to figure out your life purpose? Take the Build Your Life Purpose Portfolio online self-paced course. You're struggling with all your money decisions? Take the free financial identities quiz and then take the course. You recently had a breakup, job loss, or experienced the death of a loved one? Take the Holistic Healing course. You need an overall plan to achieve holistic wealth? We will help you figure out your holistic wealth blueprint. And of course, if you want to start making money by helping others achieve holistic wealth, become a certified holistic wealth consultant. Regardless of what career you've got, the Institute will show you how to increase your income and walk in your purpose. The sooner you join, the sooner you start to achieve a more holistically wealthy lifestyle. And you're going to want to stay for a very long time. So go to Institute on Holistic Wealth /memberships to join. If you haven't read the book yet, pick up a copy of the award-winning, best-selling Holistic Wealth 32 Life Lessons to help you find purpose, prosperity, and happiness.